Hello and welcome to Chronicles of Tao by Deng Ming Dao, Taoist Master. This book chronicles the spiritual and martial arts journey of his master Sai Hung. And this chapter is called Internal Alchemy, a long-term interest of mine. As an initiated Taoist adept, Sai Hung began training in the esoteric practices of his sect. His practices of internal alchemy, including hygiene, therapeutic movement, and meditation, would lead to a very special culmination. Hygiene reflected the Taoist desire to purify the body, cleansing it of toxins that inhibited spiritual growth. In spite of their meticulously scrupulous diets and Qigong exercises, the Taoists still felt that the body accumulated poisons. Every day while you breathe, stated his master, your body collects dust, dirt, and other particles from the air. When you sleep, those substances remain in your lungs and enter your bloodstream. In addition, your body itself creates waste gases. All these things must be purged daily. The Grand Master instructed Sai Hung in even more vigorous Qigong exercises and introduced special herbs to flush out his system. A herbal tea made up of 5 different flowers cleansed his digestive tract. Another of roots and leaves cleansed his blood. Other formulas dissolved clotted blood, dispersed trapped qi, or relieved unbalanced organs. So there's all this purification thing going on with Chinese herbs, medical herbs, which have been practiced since ancient times, since the Yellow Emperor Classic. Blah, 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 blah. There is no such thing as immortality in its true sense, stated the Grand Master. Immortality means longevity. Through correct practices, you can prolong your life to an unusual limit and remain free from illness. But no one lives forever. Even the gods must die. We can only taste immortality, but the practices can never be interrupted. Never neglect your body. If you train your mind, but ignore your body, it will atrophy. If you neglect your mind and train your body, you'll never advance. The secret is that mind and body are united, and that one can combine their energy to transcend this mortal plane. Sai Hung's practice of internal alchemy took place in a small hut set aside solely for meditators. He was to stay there for 49 days to achieve the goal of opening his meridians in a process known as the microcosmic orbit. So I'm just reciting the highlighted areas of this wonderful text. Living in silence, reading sacred books, exercising, having a regulated diet, taking herbs, and meditating gave Sai Hung a deep inner contentment. He never experienced claustrophobia. His all-consuming task and the strength of his inner vision opened up new vistas. His world had turned inward, and as he had seen with the yin immortal, the inner world could be infinite. Completing the microcosmic orbit and continuing its practice did not make him superhuman. Rather, it was the cultivation of human potential. He felt extraordinarily vigorous. At this point, the manual stated he was on his way to developing the golden body, a healthy mind and body nearly impervious to illness and natural calamity. So just make some comments on that text. This is about internal cultivation, internal alchemy, alchemizing the body's chi, its fluids, blood, uh, opening the meridians with qigong, a purified diet, and Chinese herbs. It could involve acupuncture as well in modern times, and some other practices, but these were the traditional practices of these monastics, these ascetics. So it was important that they were in superb health because longevity was required because they needed cultivation time in order to consummate their immortality practices. You know, if you died young in a martial arts battle or or at war, as Sihun did when he went to war against the Japanese, if he had died in that battle, well, he would have wasted the best part of his life, which he could have used for internal cultivation, alchemy. So even the gods must die, although they live for eons, perhaps hundreds of millions of years in Taoist legend, Buddhist legend as well. Still, they have to incarnate again, and if they fall, they might have to incarnate as a human being. But still, according to the Buddhists, the human realm is still the best place to cultivate and become a Buddha, who is higher than the gods, because the Buddha never comes back. He's permanently in nirvana, which is beyond the world of manifestation. He has become the Tao itself. So, like muscles, if you don't cultivate the body with qigong, proper diet and breathing, the body will atrophy. That's why I've practiced qigong for regularly for about 17 years, 18 years. So cultivating in internal energy is what counts. It's not just about muscles. It's not about your six pack and how you look in a magazine or a photograph. It's how you feel internally. You can still look really good in terms of having a great physique, but your body can still be full of toxins. Your mind can still not be cultivated and pure. So it's important that you are pure. I say this as I'm drinking this coffee, by the way. Apparently, according to scientists now, coffee is really good for us. We'll find out. Scientists. Right. So the mind and body are united, and if the body is in perfect condition, the mind will be at peace. So two immortal caves, and this is the story of the magic peach. The two immortals were two boys who had been playful acolytes of Huashan. As they romped along a path one morning, they had met a stout, muscular, white-haired man dressed in peasant clothing. Slung over his shoulders was a branch with several enormous peaches. He was Dong Feng Shui, a disciple of the Northern Sea immortal. Before he had become a disciple, he had been a thief, a bandito. The impulses of his former profession had been difficult to suppress. Anxious to attain immortality, weary of austerities, and impatient with internal alchemy, he had gone to the garden of the Queen of the West. And had stolen some peaches of immortality. He was just returning when he happened on the two boys. He liked him immediately and spent the day playing with him. Intrigued by their wits and intelligence, he asked them complex riddles and to his surprise, the boy solved them with ease and flair. Little ones, Dong Feng Shui addressed them as he stood to go. I like you, but have nothing to give you in parting. How about taking one of these peaches? One bite, and you shall live 40,000 years. The boys clapped their hands delightfully, and after the man left, ate the entire peach. They instantly became immortal, and their spirits ascended to heaven. The Jade Emperor was surprised by their sudden appearance. How is it that two boys have acquired immortality? Asked the Emperor. A stranger gave us a magic peach, they answered. Ah, the stars must have been right for you to have such fortune, said the Jade Emperor. He ordered his ministers to investigate. They returned with a thorough accounts and confirmed that the Book of Life listed the two boys as predestined for immortality. You see, they had their scientists too. I sanction your attainment, decreed the Jade Emperor. Since you became immortal as children, you will remain children. Like that, huh? And since you are such good friends, you shall be known as the two immortals. He touched their third eyes, opening them to perception, and bestowed divine wisdom on them. Then he gave them special scriptures and bade them return to earth to teach humanity. That was that. Blah, 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 blah. And they did get away with it. Right. So this is when he meditates in the cave for 49 days and sees all these visions. It talks about different masters here, like Master Shifting Wind, who ate a diet of herbs and only a handful of rice, approaching his work reverently by worshipping Shen Nong daily before class at a shrine in his herb room. When he taught, he indicated that he possessed an amazing store of knowledge. He never used books, he had memorized them all. Medicine was based on the knowledge of organs, meridians, and body structures. It was the perfect complement to meditation. The meditations were concerned with points within the body, and medicine simultaneously improved visualization while teaching healing. It was about massage, he was taught massage, herbalism, and acupuncture. The most knowledgeable healers used only meditation. Massage familiarized Sai Hung with anatomy, pressure points, and meridians. He learned to project his chi into his fingers to strengthen his grip, and the ideal was to control his patient completely and relax him by the methodical grasping of the spots. Blah, blah. And it goes on about the different illnesses that can be healed with Taoist massage, including broken bones, bruises, hemorrhages, muscle spasms, twisted veins, poisons in the bloodstream, clots, twisted nerves, neuralgia, and dislocated organs. Take care of your body, dear ones. The second stage of massage required learning to project chi directly into a patient's body, and it was frustratingly difficult. Projecting chi could bring deep poisons or clotted blood to the skin surface for dispersal, or, as a life force transfusion, could save a life. Sai Hung experienced its feeling when the teacher demonstrated on him. An electrical field of prickly heat penetrated his skin. Goes on and on about chi, energy points, treating illness with tonic herbs, suppressing a revolution before it's begun. Right? One of the highest meditations that Sai Hung learned, the Lin Q meditation, opened the psychic centers. the body center situated in a straight line from the base of the body to the top of the head, like the chakra system in the Hindu or Vedanta system. They have these centers also in Taoism, right? So the body center, straight line from the body to the top of the head, had specific healing and spiritual powers, because each chakra, each energy center is associated with different emotions, different feelings, has a different intelligence and a different vibratory level of energy, from the most dense at the bottom to the least dense at the top, crown chakra. Meditation aimed at bringing the life force straight up through each of the centers to the crown. Paralleling the Indian Kundalini meditation, the Taoists opened each of the centers until at the very top they reached what the Hindus called Samadhi, the Buddhists called Nirvana, and the Taoists called stillness, being more earthy and practical nature. Sai Hun began to practice the attainment of that immortal spirit. Each center, according to its anatomical placements, controlled and healed the adjacent body structures and organs and yielded particular psychic powers. The Grand Master continually warned Sai Hun that the abilities that would come to him would be gifts from the god and were not to be abused. Many ascetics, having come this far, had fallen because they had grown obsessed with the importance of their centers, like sex addicts. We'll get onto that in a minute. Instead of reaching the spiritual, they became fascinated with the use of their lower centers and became trapped in the abuse of their powers. Because people who are really into personal power, in the evil Taoists, for example, like to control people through domination, like the old sorcerers. And the sexual center, the lower Dantian, where the energy is stored, is extremely powerful. You know, and if you get stuck there, you can forget about the higher center of spirituality and the more refined psychic faculties. That being a narcissist. Because that center is still associated with the self, the lower T centers below the heart chakra are associated with the self, they're still linked with self-importance and ego, because they're not yet spiritual, but they still have tremendous power in them, so yes. Apologies for that interruption, people. Go and light that one up now. The first center was actually outside the body and was the source of energy. Sai Hun brought the life force into his body at the base of his spine. Like the Kundalini, it comes in at the base of your spine. Now, that energy is very powerful indeed. The coiled serpent at the bottom. So one must be very careful with it. Both this center and the next one at the navel controlled life and reproduction. That's the sexual center. Meditating on them brought lightness, increased physical energy, and sexual desire. The Grand Master warned him that feelings of physical and sexual power would become so strong that he might be reluctant to go on. He said that many adepts remained at these two centers, cultivating massive strength and sexuality for all sorts of deviant purposes. When Sai Hun opened the centers, he found it was true. This is a young man now, he's only 15, 16 years old at this point. So you can imagine how much these centers could be a trap for him. Deep sexual cravings and the realization that he could develop the power of an almost unbeatable martial artist tempted him and strained his discipline. As soon as he opened the solar plexus center, his ordeal ceased. He had passed into the spiritual centers. Now I'm saying it's above the heart center, but here, apparently it starts at the solar plexus. I don't know why that's so, because I believe that the solar plexus was the very centre of power, because you could control the sex desire at that point. I think it was really powerful, But you were still, this was the centre where, you could be very efficient, impeccable in that. Anyway, the solar plexus was a source of vitality for him and gave him increased power to heal. Sai-Hung realised that it had been this centre that Master Shifting Winds had drawn upon. The heart was compassion, skill, appreciation of beauty, and artistry. Guess my heart chakra is open then. Opening it developed artistic ability and supported the arts. The Grand Master emphasised that creativity arose from this centre and that people like Mist through a grove, an unusually talented musician, naturally had theirs open. The throat centre, not surprisingly, aided singing, but was also responsible for clairvoyance. And I'm just going to interject here and say that when you sing, singing is a very powerful thing. When you're happy, you just naturally sing. You don't have to question whether what you're doing is a path of heart, because to question it is obviously not. You just know it is. You're singing, you're happy, it means you're happy, it's joyful, and you're exercising the throat chakra. Everybody is an opera singer, everybody's a singer. Exercising that centre, it's also means speaking the truth as well, being a truth. Taoism, essentially, in opposition to Buddhism, Buddhism is about being a good person. Taoism is about being a true person, right? So, a true man, actually, a true man is what is the culmination of the Taoist. The Taoist becomes a true man or woman. So this is the ultimate. Anyway, the throat centre not aided singing, but was also responsible for clairvoyance. Now I thought that was this centre here, the psychic centre, because when I studied Hinduism and the psychic centre, clairvoyance centre was here. Although clairvoyance is a psychic power, but there are definitely more than the main psychic powers like telepathy, clairvoyance, and that. Also, Master Lee and Falun Gong identified 10,000 of them. I hadn't even been studied yet. Anyway, that's clairvoyance. Used in combination with the third eye, which is next, it's interpreted the perceptions of other realities seen by that centre. Often Sai-Hung did not understand his spiritual experiences until the throat centre poured forth verbal understanding. The upper dantian, or third eye, perceived other dimensions. So that's what, when you take a powerful psychedelic plant or drug or alchemical substance that a Taoist might use, your third eye is opened up instantaneously, so you get all this flood of information, and energy is information. You get information from the bandwidth opens, so you get energy from other dimensions coming in. You can see other dimensions, but the third eye has to be open. You can open it quickly through power plants, but it closes again. You've got to keep up the daily practices of internal alchemy. So I'm going to carry on with this. The Grandmaster stressed again that most people and Sai-Hung had agreed to see the world only in a certain way, and had called that existence, like the fixed position of the assemblage point, where people are convinced that reality is such and such and so and so. It's actually a lot more than that. Like materialist scientists are often guilty of this. The most guilty of this. In actuality, it was not real. Reality was the shifting of different illusions, because many dimensions coexisted. So in other words, there is no world, fixed world, there is no metaphysical given world. There's only perception, right? Using the third eye, Sai-Hung could pierce through the illusory world for the meaning behind it, which is a Nagual in Toltec shamanism. Ascending the body center symbolized the whole of Saihun's training. He had developed his body powers, learned martial arts, secured his health, longevity, and vitality, become versed in art, literature, science, and divination, and had perceived extrasensory realities and spiritual wisdom. Now he entered his final center. He was on the threshold of a level that was at once a culmination of many arduous years and the foundation for higher states, the crown center, the golden flower. The 1,000-petaled lotus bloomed. His senses dropped away. There was no external reality, no internal reality. He felt nothing, thought nothing. He had merged completely with voidness. So he'd gone completely into the void. It's still not the ultimate, because ultimately there's no division between the spiritual and the material. The Tao includes the entire unmanifest and manifest realities. So, but at that stage he had reached at least temporarily what the Buddha had attained when he had reached the stage of neither perception nor non-perception, where there's no inner world or outer world. They're completely one. They're completely empty. Now, when you go to non-dual reality, emptiness and fullness are one and the same. Emptiness is form, and form is emptiness. So, developing the centers, internal alchemy, meditation, qigong, herbs, diet, opening the centers. That's what it's all about. That's what life is about. That's what a cultivator's life is about. That's how you attain the Tao. That's how it's done. Thanks for listening.